Hello, adventurers, and welcome to Roll for Bluff, our Dungeons & Dragons talk show where we discuss our ongoing Bards and Nobles campaign. I am your host, Sam, and I play Calmine. To my very far right, we have Tristan, who plays Sword Thunderfist. Next to him, we have Brandon, who...
The Nogi Nude Rutisma.
Yes, the Noganud Ritisma, or the Dungeon Master.
Just for normal people.
Next to him, we have Zeke, who plays Leon Silver Shadow.
Yeah.
And next to him, we have Malcolm, who plays Bilal.
I'm Bilal, and I play Bilal.
Right, Bilal, who plays Bilal.
I wish I could, Misty Step right now.
So they'll be joining me tonight as my co-hosts, as well as my peanut gallery. We don't always have our extra players on, so it's really nice that we have them on tonight, especially because we just did our first live episode of our stream, which was very exciting.
I think at one point we had 12 active viewers. I know we're probably half of them, but it's still more than I thought. I thought it was going to be us. So,
great.
Good on us. Congrats, us.
Tonight's episode is called Ceremony in the Cemetery, and it starts out in Dramic, following our defeat of Droppelman and our kind of rescuing the city a little bit from they didn't know they were necessarily in need of rescuing, but we saved them.
They saved them
out of the goodness of our hearts.
We do what we do and save people.
For funsies. Not because there's an evil demon threat or anything.
No.
So you had just, in the previous session, you had just stopped Droppelman, saved them from jail, and proven your own innocence. And you had started back in the tavern, and this started new and fresh and perfect, waking up and after in your rooms, starting the day, eating breakfast, and going out and being able to do whatever you wanted. The town and the world at that point was your oyster for a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're just going to do a play-by-play?
More or less. Do you want? I know that you had kind of started off on your own.
Yeah,
this morning.
As we discussed in the last Roll for Bluff, for the last session we played, it was asked of Soren to try and find the son of the horse merchant, who we found out was the person that Trish had taken the form of in order to trick us to help Droppelman. So we started off.
You three went split.
Yes, it was the guys.
Guys and gals.
The guys and gals separated. The guys went to the horse merchant to get any other information. We just found the path he normally takes to work, how long he's usually been there. We searched his room for anything we can get with his scent on it.
And you found something very, very interesting.
We found
found that dank kush.
They found and now in this it wasn't weed that you smoke. It was more of something that you put and inhale.
Like Sharpies.
It was the vapors.
It was the vapors.
So they found that interesting little tidbit.
I pocketed it, of course.
The son Keith was a huffer.
A
sniffer. But the cloth that he had used for this gave us a scent where Bilal had shapeshifted into a bloodhound and guided us back to the Coliseum.
First of all, this was the first natural 20 of the night. I want you guys to keep count.
All right, nat 20 number 1.
Bing!
And
no, he had 3. No, he had 3 or 4.
You had that many?
Yeah.
Good
he was on fire.
And so we went towards the Coliseum. The guards let us in. Again, more young guards. They were helpful.
Also.
And while you guys were doing that and exploring, the girls went shopping.
Yes, we went shopping.
So, yeah, you two originally went off to the one place you knew you could guarantee get magical things.
Yes.
And have a wonderful time at an emporium of sorts. What was its name? A Wonder Emporium? Wesley's Wonder Emporium!
Yes. I went there basically to look to see about some magic weapons or, maybe something a little bit to add to my armory.
Then you realized you were broke.
Then I realized I was mostly broke. But I still managed to get 20 acid arrows out of it, and Lyran got 20 frost arrows out of it, ice arrows, which worked out. We also found out that, we asked if Wesley knew of any jobs in town, and he told us that we could go explore a cave and find some gems or some exotic-looking bones in exchange
Interesting
for some,
finds.
Looks like
exchange for some money.
You also found out that the dragon tooth you'd kept could be fashioned into either a weapon or something else, or you could have sold it.
we also found that nobody else has come out of this cave, so it's a death trap.
We were playfully terming it the Death Cave.
Yes.
Death cave. Death cave.
Sounds like another cave that we're stuck in currently.
Yes.
Another dimension.
Well, it sounds like every other cave in D&D.
Sounds like that
Every
cave.
adventure we have.
Constant death everywhere. Every cave,
I mean,
death.
that's basically
Yeah, that's what D&D
There's at
stands
least-
for.
I think at least one person dies in every episode.
Yeah, D&D doesn't stand for Dungeons
Not
and
this
Dragons.
time.
Just
Stands for death and more
death.
Where's
So
DM?
Death Master.
Leave it alone.
So, I'm actually really curious. I've been meaning to ask you this for a while. So, you've wild shaped into a couple different forms by now. What's been your favorite?
The go-to is the dire wolf.
Yeah.
I like the pack feature. It's pretty useful to have advantage on all attacks when somebody else is within 5 feet. It's kind of fallen off now. This is something that I wanted to talk to Brandon about later, but there's not enough. With the way they change while shaping, there's not enough creatures, especially at higher levels. So I want
We
to
could potentially work out a deal.
Yeah. So,
Don't shake on anything.
It
Don't
comes
shake
at
on
a
anything.
price.
Everything comes at a price.
you can just touch tips.
No, not at a price.
See,
So the
wild
dire
shape.
wolf is kind of like a go-to.
It got us through pretty much every fight, including the
Yeah,
Coliseum.
that's true.
Yeah, it seems to be that you choose either dire wolf or you go with the bear.
I
Yeah.
think the most interesting one, because didn't you do like a brontosaurus or something? One time?
So
That's
in
from the first battle of the Coliseum, wasn't it?
In the Gorn fight.
Oh, the Gorn fight.
I didn't become a brontosaurus. I summoned one.
Oh.
Yeah, that was
I
right.
was not here
Yeah.
for that. That sounds like fun.
Didn't really last long though.
No.
It lasted hella long. What do you mean? It killed 2 people and then it took the
Killed
stove
2 people
down.
and then exploded.
No, it took the stove down to half health.
And then exploded.
Yeah, after taking the stove down to half health.
It still exploded. That doesn't change the fact
It's still
that a
exploding.
dinosaur exploded. I'm not caring about what it did. I'm caring about how it
His
died.
name was Henry.
He was
had a
very
family.
important.
He's dead
It
now.
would have been his birthday next
You
week.
still summon it?
So,
Every time.
How
So-
come you don't do it?
Because he kind of fell off.
Anyway,
the gals bought some stuff.
you also went, after shopping there, you went to try and make some extra money.
Yeah, we kind of played with some water at the fountain.
Next
Liren
time-
played with some water.
Liren shaped
helps.
water, and they each got 3 gold.
Yay, man.
And
It did
technically a
not
copper
work out
piece.
well.
It could have gone better, but due to some unfortunate rolls and some unfortunate, I guess, hype person, they didn't really go well for the first
The
little
person
bit.
with the most charisma.
Swimsuits.
That's actually a good point.
For advantage.
You were in armor and traveling clothes.
Yeah, that's true.
Walk around topless.
I mean, yeah, the charisma on the character is pretty good. Should probably use that more often.
But
I
that's-
had considered actually
they
doing
made a
some
total of,
juggling daggers at one point. I was like,
That's
my
what I
dex
was-
is decent, but
you could have.
But with the way I was rolling, I was like, nah.
Thank God
With
you
my
didn't.
luck, I'd like hit myself.
Good thing you didn't do
Yeah.
poison dagger.
I mean, because you guys left with 6 gold and 2 copper in total?
Something
Yes,
like that,
6
yeah.
gold and 2 copper, so 3 gold and 1 copper each.
Oh, I didn't hear the part about the copper.
You each
Yeah,
got
that was the first.
I'll
It was
have to
the,
change that on
let's
there.
when Penny Richard.
When Penny Richard.
Hey, the copper will get you some stuff. So they were doing that. We went
Have
to
a
the
grand old
Coliseum. We went straight to Galdine because that's where the scent led us to. We're like, hey, Galdine.
In the Coliseum.
It was, as I can say now, drunkenly passed out on the.
He was like, I'm in charge.
Pretty much, and he passed out drunkenly on the
on
desk.
the desk. Not
Yeah.
even like on the floor, just laying down on that desk.
Yep. So we searched the room and Bilal rolled his
My second natural 20.
second nat 20. In which he found a hidden button on the bookcase, which opened the bookcase to find a stairway. Which is
More secret passages.
and everyone's like, God Dang it, Droppelman.
So many.
And guards for not searching it.
Mm-hmm.
The small guy.
So we went down the stairway.
Stupid guards.
Long story short, we triggered a trap when we tried to go into the next door that we came to.
Somebody got poisoned.
I got poisoned.
It was whatever.
Which
I'm
one?
used to
The
poison.
least important person got poisoned.
The least important person also brought up the most important fact.
True.
Valid point.
Later on in the game.
We'll get into that in a moment. So we opened. We dealt with. It was essentially a gas started filling the chamber. We had Soren found a switch and flipped it, and it stopped it from
pumping out more gas by blocking the vents that are pumping it out. So right now, as soon as that opens up, it's just going to
in which we found a workshop essentially for clockwork. So there was clockwork pieces all over the place.
clockwork enhancements for people, the body of the first dead clockwork displacer beast, a bunch of an operating table, some operating tools, lots of blood, lots of flesh and gross things everywhere.
And a trapdoor. And when we opened the trapdoor, that's where we found the remnants of 3 people, one of which being Keith.
Rest in peace.
So we found Keith had been dead, but it looks like for about a day.
Yeah.
He had died one day previous. I had it
You know,
on the DM side. I had it planned out depending on what you guys did and when you did it. If you would have like, oh, I'm gonna go next. Like, if you would have been like, oh, I'm not gonna go the next day to look, because like, I'm gonna look right now. You could have found him.
Right.
you know what that tells me though? Like when you guys were handcuffed and like in there while the guards were searching, he was probably yelling up, trying to get someone's attention.
Oh,
That's even
so
if he
dark,
heard us.
Right?
so dark, but so true.
And this is where I blame the guards.
Keith had a bad time.
He's just there, just
I mean,
like,
it should be said that the 2 other people
bleeding
were
eyes.
they were mutilated beyond recognition.
And they were experimented on.
Can you metagame what happened to Keith?
What happened to Keith? Oh, definitely. So, as you know, he had a problem with the grass, and he had a problem with pretty ladies.
So I'm assuming a pretty lady tricked him.
By saying, "Oh, I have something.
The
I have what you
changeling.
need. I have what you want to hang out. You want to go, back around over here and have some time." And he was on it. Pretty
As any
girl.
man would be.
He was on it. And that was when Trish went, "Hello, stunning strike, knockout, take you to the area." And that's when, because that was hours before you guys showed up, but it was the easiest person to get. Drop him in, did some experiments, did his thing, and left him for dead pretty much. Because when you guys showed up is when he was working on it, so then he was alerted, and we're like, into the pit.
I feel like he would have been even more excited after Trish dropped her disguise, because I would have been.
Yes, he was super
Even
excited.
prettier lady.
Oh no! Who the heck are you? Punch!
boner.
He did
Break
know
your
the
jaw.
other girl.
More
Like,
boner.
there's a 5-second between the. He's like, oh,
Broken jaw, broken arm, incapacitated. So, yeah, he was used for everything that he could. He did when he was down there, though. He did try and get up, but as I said, it was about 8 foot.
Yeah.
And he was only 6 and he was bound, so he couldn't really do much. I can say, as morbid as it, he didn't yell. But as you went down, it was a good ways away and stone underneath another. So he was pretty trapped.
So,
I was in jail.
yeah.
No, we're talking about they were chasing John.
So, after we found this, Bilal had started making druid crafting some coffins. Galdine went to grab some guards to bring the mage to help us deal with all the clockwork pieces, to which the mage showed up, and he was like, holy crap! And we convinced him to start acid melting all the pieces that we had found.
And
Piece by piece and not in a pile.
Yes, he wanted to just throw it in a pile, and we were like, no!
You guys are so scared of clockwork in a pile.
Are you need to tell us that it's not? It wouldn't have done anything.
I am not at liberty to say.
You are.
That was saying it was going to do it.
My lawyer has told me I'm not
That
allowed this.
it's a good thing we stopped it.
Can
Lawyer,
you,
do I talk about this?
can you tell us what that magic item did?
Yeah, the one that
Yeah.
you murked.
So we came across an eye that was essentially put together.
And you wouldn't let me take it.
I wouldn't let you
So-
take it because I knew the second you tried, like, oh, this is pretty.
It was going to
fine,
be,
I can
it was
handle
a circle of the mind's eye. So it would have attached and then burrowed itself in. It could have been
Third
removed.
eye.
And it would have given you twice per day advantage on investigation and perception.
Okay.
I hate you. That was so
Did you miss the part where he said it would burrow into your forehead?
I would have a third
I
eye. That would be
mean,
so cool. And
On
I'm
the
trying to be
one
a monk.
hand, like yeah, magic item. Like I said, I have a clockwork amulet. Like on the other hand, it's still clockwork. Like so, I understand the hesitation. Like I haven't used the clockwork amulet yet, and especially not around clockwork.
There is
Still
a
could've been dope.
clockwork game that has a drawback, right?
No.
No, Clockwork Heart did.
Yeah.
Clockwork Heart definitely did,
Yeah,
but
the
the clockwork
amulet-
amulet doesn't have a drawback.
No.
as far as I know.
Not that we know of.
But I know that at one point I was like, maybe I shouldn't use this around other clockwork. And you're
Yeah,
like,
probably
smart
a good
idea.
So we destroyed all of the clockwork, and essentially we had returned. While the rest of the guards took the other two individuals in their coffins elsewhere, we took Keith back to his family, to which we had a ceremony for Keith. And
In the
I forgot the little kid.
in
that
his you
Oh,
also
yeah.
on the way there.
we are carrying
That was
a
the best
coffin,
thing ever.
And this
a
little
coffin.
a child runs up and goes, "What's in the box?"
And his response is
A surprise.
presents.
Oh no, it's a
You said presents.
I said presents. Oh,
You
I thought
said
I said surprise.
You didn't say
No,
a present. You,
you
said, presents. With
And
a
the
multiple.
kid instantly went, "I want a present."
I don't get any presents, so I literally tossed my half of the coffin at this guy, and I used Druidcraft to make a horse, and I go, "Happy whatever day it is, kid."
No,
Take
I
the
said
coffin back,
surprise.
and then we fucking leave.
I said
Everything's a
surprise.
great Thursday.
And Cal and
Lear and see us
Lear
walking with the
had also
coffin,
seen them.
and
Right.
they're like, "Nope."
And we were kind of like, we don't want any part of what's going on.
Girls' Day. Girls' Day. Going in here.
So we ducked into a shop.
After you did
That's
a
like you don't want.
After you did
anything
a
to do
thieves-
with
I
it.
did a quick message in Thieves' Camp to Leon, who was like, you don't want to know.
you want any part of this.
So we had the ceremony where a cleric came over and Bilal helped them do
The funeral rites and the ceremony, and they put it in the back little plot of the family cemetery to let. I mean, I don't know if you'd ever occurred to you guys that they have this, which means their family has been there for a long time. So their
Yeah.
family has been there longer than Dramic has sprung up into this walled off city. So that's why there's this little.
plot. That's why. I mean, because I asked them if they had a family plot, and for them to be like, yes, it was like, oh,
They've been here a while.
because I expected to be like, yeah, come around back to the backyard. There's a big tree.
Wait, how old was
I thought they were gonna bury him with the
Hmm?
horse.
How old was the couple?
A couple.
Yeah.
They're about 55, 60.
Oh, that family line's dead.
Yep. Well, we don't know if they have any older siblings.
You don't know. Maybe you'll find out next episode.
That storyline's done. I don't think.
He's like, I don't want to go back. Well, that's not to say it's necessarily dead because he said he would give us a discount if we need horses and carriages. And something tells me we might want to take up that option.
Where you're going to? Because
Right now you have no mode of transportation.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I got these 2 legs, and they're made for walking.
Too bad they don't move nearly as fast as a
As a
horse.
horse.
I can be a horse.
That's a valid point.
You can't, they can't.
I don't care.
Well, you can and he can ride.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm hopping
He's
on.
fast.
Not that fast. So
This could work out, yeah.
after you guys had the touching moment and the heartfelt, the cemetery and
right,
the ceremony
Thank you for finding him. We did assure him that whoever was responsible was dead.
made him feel really good.
Yeah.
I was sad I didn't get the phone.
That's where we went back to the Lawmasters to discuss the problem of issues.
And when you guys were on the way, you guys were
We were going to head back to the tavern, but as we were walking there, somebody tried to get our attention, threw a note at us. It turned out to be Max,
Yeah,
everyone's favorite
Postman
Connect, I guess.
who kind of took
Postman
us
Express?
off into this sort
Express
of
mail?
side, like, bazaar type.
Little kind of like outdoor flea
Little
market or
farmer's
indoor
market.
flea market.
So he took us into a stall and kind of passed on the information that He heard back from Sonderheim after he'd sent a message to them and let us know that about 20 Goliaths, including Jeroen himself, as well as Devin and about 10 members from Humbleton, were going to come and help.
Whatever
our
you guys
cause.
needed. They don't have, as far as, because that's not what he didn't tell them. All he said was, because what you told him was, we need help, send them, and he did.
Yeah, and he did.
We gonna kill everything, including ourselves.
Yep, you gave my
Say no
dad
more,
an
I'm halfway
excuse to
there.
show up.
Yep,
He was like, demon that hurt my wife. You're damn right I'm showing up.
basically.
Jeroen.
Jeroen.
Skinner.
That's your dad.
Yep.
Yeah, Jeroen
I would
Bearskin.
forward
What
to
a
that.
Yeah.
good time. This is going to be his... Oh, we'll get into that, actually.
I was going to
And
say,
again,
yeah.
after that,
So good old Jeroen Bearskinner churro cocaine.
It's going to show up in about...
That is my dad's full name.
depending on what you guys do, in 2 to 3 sessions.
I'm very curious to when you go to sell the dragon tooth.
If she
That
sells it,
story.
or
Or
Because-
not sell if
Yeah.
you get it to be fortunes or something.
See, I think that because I was kind of thinking about it the other day about like, oh, I totally forgot that I had this dragon tooth. I wonder
you
if
should
it can
totally
be
have
like.
fortunes or something.
Now-
I wonder
now
if it
that's
can
like-
be
right?
I should probably have enough to make a shield.
How many?
A single shield?
no, he's asking me
How
skills.
many
You
scales?
said it molted, so I have that much.
Okay, so... Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's something that you could probably just hold on to those until we go, and then Cal's like, oh, I'm going to get this looked at, and he's like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Gotta get this looked at.
So they'd gotten information about the forces, to which Max asked for payment, and payment being information, pretty much going, why do you need this information?
Why do you need all these people?
Right, in which Cal gave him an answer of just like,
We're gonna go fight a demon lord.
Yeah, more or less.
And he was like, cool, I figured that's what it was.
Cool. Using my own contacts and big boy
He
brain.
just wanted to see if we were going to lie to him, which I'm actually surprised Cal didn't even think to do.
Cal had considered it, but he'd already done her enough favors at this point.
You've done me a favor.
But you wouldn't shake his hand.
But she wouldn't
Okay.
shake his
Oh yeah, let's talk about
Shaking a
that.
hand is kind of what started this whole situation.
You're not wrong.
No, I disagree.
Well, okay, Rhaegar
Okay.
started this
Well,
situation.
hold on. If we're
Rhaegar.
gonna be totally, what started this whole situation is you stealing an amulet.
No, what started this whole situation was we agreed to play D&D with Brandon.
Yes, storyline wise though.
No, because the amulet thing didn't happen until after we'd gone to
No,
the city
no,
of Brett.
No, he's talking
No,
about
that's right,
the
yeah.
Poe.
You Poe, you
Yeah.
stole that. And that how'd you meet Fox?
Yeah,
So-
but I wouldn't have had to lie to
Yeah.
Fox if Well,
In-
he would have never known if Rhaegar didn't follow me.
In an alternate timeline, maybe after the whole
Anyway.
overarching arc is done, I will divulge a path that we could have gone down. But for now,
That's
we're
a
still in
change.
Dramic. We're still doing this. So you guys,
I want to be
Went to
Fox's
the
friend.
Lawmasters. The guys were with the Lawmasters. They
Good
were
luck.
like, hey, people saw Keith's coffin, and before rumors start, we wanted to try and come up with an idea for you to tell people so we don't create mass panic and people don't start distrusting the police.
you gave no craps about any of this.
You're right, I sure as heck didn't.
No, actually,
I gave the story though. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
you gave.
Yeah,
I gave the
you,
actual
you
story.
didn't care who it was that he was dead. You were just like, okay, guys,
I'm an
I'm good at
assassin.
lying.
People die all the time for me, and I really didn't know this kid at all.
guys, I'm good at lying, and here's a lie we're gonna tell.
I'm actually surprised
I
his,
really-
his curse mark, or not, I guess it's still considered a curse mark, didn't chime in at any point about anything.
Why would it?
Well, yeah,
He's a good kid who has passed away.
Yeah, but he didn't have anything to do with it.
yeah, exactly.
So-
That's what I was thinking the same thing. So I was like,
See, I would have
need to
figured that
call
even
on
with
it?
his coldness towards it, I figured it might have chimed in and be like, hey.
no, as long as I don't
Well-
kill it.
Well,
Here's
because
the-
my thought is that it would be more eventually than just that. It would try to make you less of a cold person. And this is just me
Okay.
thinking of what it would do, is that it wants you to
Makes
be
me
a better
more of,
person.
like, yeah, oh,
No.
Then it would be like, this is a child that passed away, Leon.
Here's the
Shouldn't
thing
you
about-
feel something being a child who has lost everything? And you're like, oh.
I'm like, well,
Like, I mean, I can see Leon being like, shut up. But
I really would.
and that's fine, but I don't like, because just in my head thinking that the mark is trying to make you a better
yeah,
person. It would have at least did something.
The thoughts.
Yeah, my thought would have been that, but I mean, that's just what my thought would have been.
But a
That's a
cleric
good
of
idea.
Pelor wouldn't think about that. They'd think about the larger picture.
Yeah.
Eh.
No. The death is evident. The death
Well,
was
because it's a cleric of Palor, but it's still a cleric in itself that's trying to push him towards a gooder path.
yes, but being
Like
the
he-
GM and knowing exactly, it didn't give a crap.
Yeah.
Just,
yeah. It's
It
been
knew-
with me for
it
how
had-
many years
It's
now?
been for a while.
Imagine it being like a higher level cleric or preller. How many people have they seen die?
Especially at this old.
Still, but
Fun
I mean,
fact,
you
if
look
you-
at things like high, religious leaders and stuff. They're still like, the loss of a single child.
Well,
still
that's
pretty bad.
in front of other people because they need to show that. But if you're
I guess
a
it depends on
religious
the
leader,
Yeah, in front
Or
of
like-
the family, I was like,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry for your loss. And
I mean,
as
valid,
soon as
yes.
I left,
That's
I
a
was
valid
like,
point. Yes.
but like I know how to put on the act, but after that, like deep down,
No,
I
and
don't
that's
care.
a valid point. That while it was happening, you were saying, "I'm sorry for your
Yeah.
loss," stuff
Yeah.
like that.
like if it's a war priest, she might do a prayer and then she'll move on to like the next thing she
War.
can save or the next thing she can kill.
The next
to the
thought.
world.
Leon,
Well, I mean, 'cause
you
even
guys
with-
make it seem like
Even
this
like
thing
stuff
can
like looking for
project.
justice and stuff like that, you figured it's like this is a kid that died for the lack of justice, and
Well,
I
yes,
mean-
but not everybody is as righteous for justice
Yeah,
as Sword
Sword.
Thunderfist.
Yeah, I guess.
Pelor isn't so much about justice as it is about law and good.
Yeah,
Like,
law and balance.
Yeah.
So, balance happened.
I guess.
He died. Robin died.
Yeah.
Balance achieved.
So Leon had come up with the great idea of saying that it was the displacer beast had escaped its cage.
And the three,
The three young guards
Yeah.
had
Fought,
killed it
yeah.
and died while defending it from escaping the Colosseum and running rampant in the town. And the lawmaster was like, "That's a good idea."
which led me to the other thought. What about all the other creatures in this
Has anyone been feeding them?
in the Colosseum? What about all the other creatures there?
You also you said it several times, but the entire group was like, "Nah, fam." You're like, "What about the armory?" And everyone was like, "We don't
I know.
care
I was
about
like,
it."
Yeah,
let's go to
I
the
mean,
armory.
It's
Now-
not that I didn't care. It's like we can't. I don't want to split anymore.
Right, I mean,
Already
it's one of those
taken
things
care
where
No, I'm
do
not
our-
saying
Yeah.
split.
Where
I'm
do our
saying-
favors run out with Galdine was my thought as well. And also, just from Soren's perspective, he doesn't need anything else.
Let's be honest.
I think
Voltaine's
it's-
not the smartest.
But I
He
think
wouldn't
it's
notice.
difficult. I think the big point is like it's difficult when in the middle of trying to keep these clockwork pieces down and taking this kid back to his
Things
family.
things get
and then
lost in the
discussing-
shuffle.
Like it's one of those things where it's like there's almost so much to do,
Yeah.
like that you can do the options that you kind of have to pick and choose.
Well,
D&D.
Well, yeah, I mean, because it's one of those things where we probably would have gone back and gone to the armory if you had not asked, like, "Oh, did you guys check the other cages?"
Oh, that's what I was saying. Oh, let's check out the cages and then the armory.
Nope, but that then
But
led
then
you
it's
down
cages.
another path.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, I guess we can kind of side mention is on our way to the house of Keith's family. We ran into Baba.
Ah, yes.
Baba.
Baba.
Good old
Turtle.
Baba.
Oh, hello, boyo.
A
The
turtle.
the Irish turtle bard. So he sent out. He
A
went
bird
the
to help-
opposite direction
to help look for Keith.
for Keith.
Which will be interesting to see if we run into him and he's like, "Well, I didn't find Keith, but I did find something interesting."
So I mean, he's performing at the tavern tonight. Depending on how fast you guys
Yeah,
finish
survive.
what you're doing.
Or if
Which
we all
leads us
die.
into what happened next. So while we went back to the Coliseum
We're
to,
sling slonging.
Wait,
We're-
before that, they were getting smashed.
Yeah, you got
they got
good.
smashed after
Liren and Cow were like, we had a day. Party!
So in order to find them, it was like, where the girls are at, and we're like, tavern. But wouldn't they be tavern?
Tavern. But what if they were at tavern?
Totally at the tavern. I saw them go to a shop. They're at the tavern.
And they
now.
rolled really low.
They did. They got smashed.
Yeah.
Luckily,
That's
Bilal has a
The magic stone. Hopefully no one ever eats that.
That's why I was surprised that she didn't choke on it or like.
Well, it's just
swallow
a
by
touch.
accident.
It's pretty big.
But she's trying to dodge it. He
Yeah, I was
shoves
gonna say,
his
it's-
hand
it's
into
like
her
a
mouth.
foot.
Yeah,
It's like-
but
it's
I
like
mean,
it's like
an
a
animal.
Oh, I thought it was like a pebble.
No, it's
No,
like
it's
that
like
big.
yeah.
So you just broke your face with it.
Well,
They have it like a shock.
all you had to do is touch.
You said it's 10 pounds, so I'm thinking it's like this big.
Yeah, I mean, it can be like that big, but still dense.
Yeah, but she dodged into it. Like that's broken teeth.
Nah, because it was more like I tried to dodge to get away
We're
from
like,
it.
"Ha!"
It's like
And
bam.
it was like, ha! And then he was like, eh.
Like,
He's like,
I missed the first time she said
It
"Ah,"
was
and
so.
like,
Think of it
Oh,
as she
yeah.
tried to dodge but didn't get very far. So she was like, "Ha ha, you missed." It's like I haven't gone yet. Boop.
So they cured of that, so they are no longer inebriated.
So
Like,
then we
what the
went.
fuck,
So
man?
that so that's where we went to the
What?
they're
Coliseum.
like, what the fuck, man?
They're like, what are you doing that for?
I was so close to getting a drink, and then I saw him got the stone. I was like, guess not.
So
Guess mom doesn't said
One
no
of
to
these
party.
days, Cal's just gonna take that stone and just yeet it into a river.
I have 4.
I'm gonna
He
take
is-
all those
or
stones
he
and
just
just
carry
eat
them
them
on
into
you?
her.
I don't know.
No, no,
Four
four
lesser
spells of lesser restoration.
Uh,
The stone is a magical item I gave.
But I have, if I wanted to, I can do it 7 times a day. I could ruin your day 7 times.
I mean, like, there's always more alcohol.
I was gonna say she would drink
there's
more than
always more
that.
spell slots.
So,
I would
after
pay
curing
other
them and
players.
saying we gotta go to the Colosseum,
We gotta go.
there's stuff because what pointed out like, oh, we struck on the creatures, like, are there more clockwork creatures? And that's when Soren and Bilal were like, oh,
They literally had that face.
We didn't
I was
think.
like, hey, wait, aren't there more like
clockwork.
creatures?
Because like either way, I was planning to go back to the Coliseum that night, but I think I would have checked like for personal interest.
I was gonna
Armory
go. I was gonna
first.
go to Armory regardless.
Yeah, in hindsight, it probably would have been wiser to go to the armory first. Because
See, and something I brought up while we were playing was I'm actually surprised the guards didn't check all that too.
That's what I was
See,
saying.
because it makes sense to check the office, but the guards should have also imagined like, all right, let's make sure everything's still locked in its
All the-
cages and
yeah.
stuff. You think that would have been the first thing to do, but granted, that could be something where it was Trish was like, oh yes, I will go check the cages, totally.
That's a good
My
point.
thought was that they did, but since they're not named characters, their insight or whatever is not enough.
And
to
that's a
find
valid
any of
point,
the
too.
traps.
I mean, it could be something that happened after the fact or whatever.
Because like even at level 1, you're technically a superhuman.
Yeah.
Like you're everything, all your your stats are way above
Pretty much.
any normal human.
Humans, most people like 10 low. Those are like somewhat special. So, yeah, no, they checked on everything, but they didn't fully, after it happened and after the clockwork, they didn't fully realize the ramifications of the
Right.
clockwork until you guys let them know. And by that point, they're like, the guards who already checked, were like, it's fine, everything's good. And they had no need.
These are bad guards.
Yeah.
It's
these
not.
parts
It's
suck.
not necessarily.
I mean,
bad.
when-
It's like if you're in a small town and nothing ever happens, everybody's gonna be shit.
This is a
Nah.
life altering situation you put
Yeah.
all these
Yeah.
guards through. So
I don't
they're
know. Maybe just because I wouldn't run a Coliseum where there's not like guards in
I mean,
like
think
caged
about it.
areas
Like,
24/7.
what 3 of the guards that we know of are like young kids who do drugs.
that are dead.
two of one.
Dead
Well,
kids
no,
who do
because
drugs.
you guys met the 2 that were
Oh,
really
those
guarded.
two.
There are
And the
other-
other 3 are dead.
There are other guards,
Yeah.
all right, but you also have to imagine. You also say you said you weren't on the Coliseum. You weren't running the Coliseum. Now that was Galdine, a
I
shady
know.
man who was doing experiments on people
Yeah,
for
I know.
clockwork for Yangu was running the Coliseum. So if he could limit the amount of people who could find stuff,
Yeah.
that was good for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a valid point.
True.
So yeah, that also leads me to like wonder how many other secret rooms he has.
Oh, I'm sure
But we
there's
don't
at
have the
least
time to do it.
there's
Right?
at
I don't know.
He's probably got at least
The
tunnels
whole-
going everywhere versus having holes.
And my
So
other
probably
question is,
spent
where's
the next
Goldine?
6 months looking for rooms.
Yeah, and that's it. So we went to the Coliseum, and we went first again back to the office to see if we could find Galdine, to see
Yeah.
if he can give us any information or if he's checked on anything, and he is gone.
Like he's gone.
He's gone, but like when? Well, are we going to?
So once we found he was gone, we found a map and we went. Found where they store the creatures, essentially. And we start heading down. Everything's dark. Everything's empty. That's where we were walking down, and then we start hearing some. And
Slap.
to which, as we got closer, Bilal, who understands
Undercommon.
Undercommon.
The only one in the group who understands Undercommon.
Yeah, it's funny because half the characters I make on D&D Beyond speak Undercommon. For
Not
no-
this one.
Not this
You speak
one.
giant.
I speak giant.
It'll be useful someday.
It will be, hopefully. So, as we got closer, Bilal started hearing it, and sounds like a bunch of bugbears. Good old bugbears, things of nightmares. To which one of them says, is like, hey, I took care of the big guy,
Hey, I took care of the big guy.
which leads us to believe that Galdine got caught looking around and taken out. That's what we're assuming.
I was thinking another displacer beast.
No, I'm assuming.
I mean, it could be.
Who
but
knows?
We're assuming
Okay,
it's,
so-
we're
Griffin.
assuming
Well,
it's
I'll say Soren assumes that means it's Galdine.
Oh, I knew
I
immediately
assumed
it
it
was
was
Bilal,
a displacer.
I assumed it was Galdine also.
okay.
I'm glad the
That
party's
makes
like,
more sense now.
could be Galdine, it could be a beast.
It could be anything.
Could be someone we
Um,
saved, could be something that tried to eat us.
The
Um,
thing is, we had
Let's
set up
leave it.
dancing lights, and then I also had like light stones out. So if we wanted to interact, there was no sneaking. So we immediately chose Blitzkrieg.
Right.
You guys.
Well, now there needs to be
There's
something.
two of you are still hidden.
There is something that we need to kind of mention because this is definitely probably going to come up in this section when we play next time. Something's escaped. Something small enough to fit in a bag was put down and is
ran.
gone.
Yeah, it's Pikachu.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
I heard them say the bag got up and ran away, I was like, the bag. Like the first thing that popped into my head was like, is it a mimic bag? Like,
I'm
it's like,
hoping.
what is it?
I'm like there's part of me that's
Like-
hoping it's the halfling from the Postman that Max has told us about. Like
Sprout?
God.
Yeah, hopefully it's
Sprout.
like Sprout or something like that.
I'm thinking something mechanical.
It definitely is like a
Yeah.
robotic chicken.
It's one of my favorite things.
Robot
Is
chicken.
just putting out just enough information. You guys are like, it could be this, it could be this. Oh god, I hope it's not this.
Right
Oh,
now,
God.
now that's as long as we're paying attention enough to, because
Yeah.
it's one of those things where we almost didn't even mention it, and it's like, oh no, that could be a big play, because I don't want us to forget about that, because that's definitely going to be a thing. I feel it in my soul. We're gonna have to worry about that running bag, at least a little bit. Whether it's something like it's a mimic bag that we're like, ah crap, or it's gonna be a small clockwork mouse or something we're like, ah crap. Or it's going to be like...
Is your solution is just, crap.
That's what's
Have you met Sword?
No.
Set it on fire.
Or depends on what it is. If it's clockwork, it ain't going to do anything.
So
The
everyone
It'll just be a
did
hot clockwork.
because they're the ones for one of the few times that the players actually get to initiate combat.
Mm-hmm.
Right before initiative gets rolled, they all took their actions silently because they had passed out a trace on. They all rolled above a 20.
Yes, we did.
So you're getting ready to charge in. You're hiding. You're moonbeaming, and Liren is going to dancing lights after the moonbeam with Soren so we can see.
So I know where I'm going.
Because they're around a corner and it's echoey, so they could hear the sounds. So now that we've covered that, anything you guys want to just talk about or ask me or give your thoughts on?
Were you hoping for us to take the magical eye?
Yes,
Yeah, I hate you. Just
of
let you know
course.
that.
It's not often I go,
was
here's
so
a
close
magical
to just
item.
taking it out of your hand.
Yeah, I gotta admit that was one of those moments that I was like,
I wanted to
could've.
take it.
You
I
could've.
really did.
But that's the glory of D&D.
Yeah, and that's where
options.
where that line between how the actual player feels versus the character.
Because I
My
wanted
character
it too,
would have
but
definitely
like
took
well,
it.
I'm very tied to nature, and he's also a barbarian who has had his girlfriend stolen by this shit. Neither
Yeah.
of us are down for it.
So that's where we're people Bilal and I as players were like, dope, curious what that does, versus our characters are like,
Burn
it, melt it, get rid of it. This
But
is
I'm a
not
rogue.
bad.
I'm a rogue and I'm new.
Well,
to
because
Clockwork.
it's one of those things as characters we've seen the clockwork stuff do everything from
That's what I'm
parts
saying. My character's new to Clockwork, so he doesn't know.
and that's a
Why
valid
did you
point.
take it?
yeah.
But I mean,
Because I don't know what it
our
is.
group has seen Clockwork Hearts latch to people's chests
I
and
was gonna
embed
actually sell
themselves.
it. Sounds
would
like
there
how much
have
it
been
is.
a negative side? Because I know you said that it would
It's
have
destroyed. So, yes, there would have been.
Okay.
What was the
Uh,
negative side?
Would have
Negative
been like a
side.
wisdom check every time.
No. The person who made it would be able to see where you are.
Oh no.
Period.
I'm okay with
We
that.
already have enough of that. Well, we've gotten rid of it when we got rid of the journal.
Why
To
not?
switch with a
And
Z.
you'll be able to see. Well, they'll also be able to see what the person sees. So let's say our rogue put it on, and then
Sees a person. and
you
they-
can the person whoever made it could be like, I'm gonna divine in there. Oh, they're behind me. Hey there, friend. Well, what pow?
Theory. If I
Still
gave
cool.
something like that to Delilah or Wilson,
Who are they?
her mother, and
Dalmine.
Dalmine.
Hey there, Delilah.
Who's Delilah?
Okay, who's Wilson?
Wesley.
Wesley,
Wesley.
they're
He,
not-
he
like
got
a-
the letters
A
right.
song and a movie.
Hey there, Delilah.
Are you asking would it be
Like
worth a pretty penny?
No, not if they could they have found that portion of the because like if you do something like that, it's in the Arcana. You'd be able to check it.
Mhm.
Like even I'd be able to check it and find something like that out. But I don't specialize in the line of
Identify.
magic. Yeah.
Only one person does, and that'd be Liren.
Would you be able to do something about that?
They could potentially disenchant it.
Yeah.
Took some time, but they could have.
Yeah.
Who knows? Doesn't matter now. It's destroyed.
Would they have been able to figure out who it was connected to? Because you said whoever made it, they could see.
Probably worth disenchanting it.
Unfortunately, when you break that, you break the tether. If you imagine
you
there's
wouldn't be able to figure
a
it
faint
out.
like line, like it's always like connect, like two cans.
Right. Well,
So
no,
if
I
you
don't. I
would've
mean, not even after like if we had just taken it as it was, could they have like been like, oh yeah, this is totally a Yanggu thing.
They could have guessed based on make and
Okay.
magic. You can't really, unless you counter
It doesn't say made in
divination
China.
through it.
It's
Right.
counter divination or wish.
Yeah.
And I was just curious if there
I
would
wish
have been
I
a way
knew
to
where
do
this
it.
came from. Alright, that'll be 50,000 gold.
a waste of a wish, but it came from this. Oh, Steve.
I probably should have guessed
I
this.
wish I was level 20.
That's not how this works.
So
That'll be 50,000 gold.
Say no
So-
more.
you don't, Cal and Liren don't know about this, sir. So I'm interested if it's ever brought up how Cal would react or how Cal is going to react. You've probably been like, it's fine.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think we will bring it up.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's like, clockwork shit was
Yeah.
destroyed.
Yeah, I mean, because that's gonna be the most of it. Is like, because if it even comes up with Cal or Liren might ask. Cal's not gonna be like, so what was the dead body in the box? Liren might be like, what'd you guys find? It was like, well, we found, a
Clockwork
workshop
stuff, yeah.
and an experimentation room.
Gross.
We found a bunch of because it's
Soren wouldn't let me take the shiny thing.
well, because I think it would just come down to we
You
would just say
haven't
we
earned
found a
shiny
bunch of clockwork. Because as characters,
why
we
I
don't know
tried to
that's
steal them.
specifically special. It could just be a clockwork eye that was ripped out of something.
No, it was clearly wondrous.
It was a circlet with an eye in it.
Yeah.
Still,
So it's like a.
Because I wanted to destroy it, but I'm like, before that, I'm like, hey, do you have an identify spell? It was
Yeah.
the
He
first
did
thing
not.
I asked. And I'm like, okay, I'm not willing to test
to
this.
risk it.
Yeah.
We don't need another.
I gotta risk it to get this biscuit. Kill it.
Can you imagine if this was another Susie situation?
I don't bring up Susie in this.
I hate Susie.
So
She
you said
scares
you
me.
want shiny things.
No, I'm saying my rogue's one of his backgrounds
Is-
attributes is like
If you see
I
shiny, you want
notice
shiny.
shiny things, and I notice like things in a room whenever I walk into a room, and then
Oh,
I
when
try
you
to
see
steal it.
something, the first
So, yeah,
the
I was
first and
like-
only thing you can think about is how you could steal it.
Exactly. So that was something that stood out. So I was like, okay, yeah, that's something I
so
want.
it's like, oh, there's some cogs, there's some springs. Ooh, that's an eye.
Exactly.
That's
That's why I was
neat.
like, my character would genuinely go for it, and he knows nothing about clockwork.
That's
so
a valid point.
I
There's going to have to be a discussion at some point between all of our characters about with Leon
Like,
being
what's
so
what?
new. Like,
yeah, because I don't know what's going
Okay,
on.
listen
like
here,
there
Bessie.
I imagine Leon's going to ask us at some point, be like, all right, guys, I've been dealing with a lot of clockwork stuff recently. What the heck is the deal with this clockwork crap?
And our only other problem is we never have the time to talk about it.
That's a
No,
valid point.
You got a TLDR. It's not like super in depth on why each of us hates it.
Right, well, I mean, like, we can't give him a TLDR, yes, but as far as things, combining and being sentient, because I remember I mentioned that at one point. I was like, oh, we put it in a pile. They're kind of semi-sentient, and Leon was like,
I was like, what?
sentient?
Their shoes are what now?
So there's some. I think there's more information we need to relay to Leon as far as clockwork goes, and
Even
why-
Even me though, as like
RP
as a
breakdown.
player too, because I'm still like a little bit like
Right.
lost. Like I understand a little bit more than my character does, but not much more.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's definitely going to be a little like on our travels. There'll
Yeah.
have to be some
Because
time.
like Leon doesn't know that it can connect to other people.
Right. That's
He doesn't know
about-
that at all.
I mean, even we didn't know about that part.
Yeah, none
I'm
of
saying
you do.
so that's why he's like, oh, let's take
Now
it.
your players don't know they can do that.
Yeah, my
I mean,
player does know that at all.
We do know the hearts have intent
Do.
and that they are connected to something.
Right. Which I mean, logically, we could probably say anything clockwork attached to a person is.
So that would
probably
have
gonna
been my
do
next
something
question. I
else.
was like, would anything I touch
But
attach to me?
Right, where we would say we don't know, but we're going to assume yes and pretend yes because we're not risking that.
Yeah, but we'll go through that as I
Yeah,
play.
that's-
I can't
that-
ask that right now.
Yeah, that will be stuff that I'm sure Leon will ask more about in the
it's
future.
Once we
funny
get the
that
time
none
to.
of us have brought up the fact or like taken your necklace to get examined.
No one
I
knows
think
she
we
has
keep-
it.
I think we keep
No,
forgetting
we all
about
know
it
she
too.
No,
has
you
it.
all know
I
about
gave
it.
it to her.
Oh, that's right.
No
you-
idea
She's
what it
used
is.
it before.
I don't know anything about it.
Because it gives you
Yes.
advantage.
If you do once, yeah.
Yeah, I've used it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's
Not
the-
No,
re-
it basically gives me a take 10 on an attack.
Yeah.
Once per long rest.
I take 10.
Take 10, so it gives her like 10 plus her modifier.
Oh.
So,
Which my modifier with my dagger is 10, with everything else is like 9. So
it's a
It's almost a
guaranteed-
guarantee
pretty much
hit with it.
guaranteed hit.
one guarantee hit per day.
Yeah.
Right, but with the last couple of sessions, we've been dealing mostly with clockwork stuff, and you've been avoiding using it around clockwork.
no.
Yeah, I didn't think that it would be wise necessarily.
I want you to do it though.
Speaking of last session, those
That means
rhinos,
don't do it.
they're cool.
Those rhinos.
I mean, because
I hate
I
them, but
considered
More things are
using
coming.
it,
I don't want more.
but I don't. I think it's been difficult because I haven't necessarily had anything that has worked well against the clockwork. That's another reason why I would have felt like it would have been a waste.
That's why I love the clockwork. None of you
That's-
guys have like.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
I mean, yeah, that's a
too. I don't
valid
have,
point.
like,
Being a
any
rogue, it's not like you have stuff.
I mean,
that would-
which is why I wanted to seek out like the acid arrows, like,
Right,
or
at least then you
something
might
that
feel
I
like
That's
could-
why I wish I went with them. 'Cause I was
Right. Well, I mean,
Second time you missed out.
Like, right.
Well, I mean, we're still in town. There's nothing that says that maybe if we survive this,
That's why I'm
you like
going
maybe
straight-
because if we see her, like you'll probably see her if she uses an acid arrow here against a bugbear.
Where'd
Where'd
So
you
I'm
get
ready.
that?
Yeah, that,
I
like,
got
where'd
it.
you get that?
As you shoot it, just says
Wesley's in Wonder Emporium.
I'm going straight to the
Probably-
armory and then there.
I probably wouldn't use an acid arrow against a bugbear, but I mean, I could,
Maybe,
but,
yeah, like,
but I
I
only have
would've
20
wasted-
of them,
yeah, I
so I'm not
would've
gonna waste
Right.
them.
Well, I
You
mean,
only
it
have
maybe
one
Cal
knot.
uses one to see what it
I
does.
do have one knot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
That's
aware.
true.
Because I was assuming there'd be clockwork. So if I
But
waste
now,
one,
but
then
now
I
we've
waste
dashed
one.
to hide, so like you're not
So-
really. It's just there.
sneak attack.
So you could always put it away.
That's
Yeah, but that will be stuff that we'll see what happens.
now we did
next
skip
session.
over something at the very beginning that I feel like we need to bring up because you're here.
Oh yeah.
You had a lovely little vision with.
Oh yeah.
So I met with my god the second time.
His god is the moon,
Yes, I worship the moon itself.
and
Oh, that's a question I had about my thing, but I'm gonna wait till he's done.
the meeting was
It was like clandestine.
it was very as if you were on the moon.
Yeah.
No gravity.
It was like I was on the moon, and the water itself was like an asteroid field or like stardust.
And it was
And
just
Yeah, it was just floating
How am I
on like
supposed
a
to
piece of the
use my
moon.
you were just relaxing with your goddess, technically goddess.
Imagine like reading a comic that's 20 pages with no words on it, and that's exactly what happened.
It was very
It
it was very
reminds me of,
surreal for you.
It reminds me almost like what is it, Dr. Manhattan on Mars,
Mm-hmm.
where he's just chilling on Mars. Just someone shows up and he's just like, "What's up?"
So,
That's pretty much exactly what happened. I got a pen, and we played music for a little bit, and then I went back,
What's
and
the
the pen
pen
was still
do?
there. Don't know yet. Haven't had time.
You
I
haven't-
haven't had time to figure
Anyone
it
has
out.
time to identify it.
Middle
Right
of
now
a
you
fight
just
and-
have a waxing moon.
oh, we were talking though. Is my curse mark related to?
Nope.
Okay, it's not. That's what we were wondering.
Nope, Palor is completely different thing.
Okay, so mine is Palor. His is the moon.
Yes.
Technically, you don't have a god. Your curse mark has a god.
No, my curse mark is.
I mean, backstory.
It is a
Cleric of Paylor.
So you don't have Palor inside your arm. If you have Palor inside your arm, it'd be like, boo, boo.
Which is why that's partially why I thought it was going to chime in earlier, because it was Paylor, it was a cleric, so it was a person who was more lawful good
But now I'm
to
curious,
worship
which is,
Paylor.
how did a person get in my arm?
Well, you're going to find out about that eventually.
How does a person get in a doll?
If
What happens?
if only there was more plot and a whole campaign and
Yeah.
side stories and everything we can go through eventually where you can
This
find
isn't
that
like a, this
out.
isn't like
So
a,
many questions.
this isn't like a video game where you can figure it out within like 4
There's
hours.
only so much program content.
Right.
So many
Right.
questions.
I know. You just always want to know more.
You always
Right?
want to keep playing, but
Yeah.
life happens and we can't always play.
So I think that pretty much does it for tonight. So we will see you guys in our next episode, which will be next Thursday after next. And we will see you guys in our next episode of Roll Call, which will be Friday, May 10th at 7:30 p.m.
Get ready to roll that initiative. Next session on live Twitch.
All right. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you very much.
Adios.